The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. I am Nick Eatman here, and it is time to talk a little Cowboys football, give the opportunity for you guys, the fans, to let us know what's going on in your world and what do you think about this football team. We have moved officially to October now, and it is time to look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cowboys are 2-2, right in the middle of the thick of everything, where the rest of the league is. There's some 4-0 teams. There's some teams. I think some teams still winless, but the bulk of everyone's going to be right here in this 2-2, 1-3, 3-1. That's exactly where the Cowboys are. They got to get to 3-2 this week against Pittsburgh. Can they do that on the road? It's been 8 years since they've played at Pittsburgh. Young Dak, young Zeke, rookies just out there running around, not even knowing what's going on. What was one of the greatest games that I can remember. It'll be a top 5, top 10 game of all time. That was such a fun game. A lot of storylines in that one. But, man, things have changed, obviously, as things do in 8 years. All right. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. We have two audiences for this show, the Bally's Sports. If you're watching on Bally Sports, hello. Also live, as we do every day, for DallasCowboys.com and our podcast. We appreciate you guys as well. You can take the phone calls, like I said, at 888-855-2297. All right, let's get right to it then. Let's see what we got. First on the line is Chuck D. He's in Bridge City, Texas. Chuck, what's up?
Nick. What's up, Nick?
How you doing?
Hanging in there, man.
Good.
Hey, I want to bring up the tackling. It seems like our tackling is we're right there. You know, we had one for a loss on fourth down, and then he slipped out. My question, I know with practices and all that with the competition committee, I don't know how many padded practices they get during the week, but I'm wondering if they could, or if they're looking into maybe practicing their fundamentals a little more. I know they got so much to practice, but man, we need to get this tackling down.
Yep, I mean that's a tough one, because they're trying to keep everybody safe. The season's longer, and it's going to be even longer. I mean, before you know it, either it's next year or the year after, we're going to move to 18 games. You know that's happening, 18 regular season games, which would probably mean maybe another bye week. That could happen. Either way, to your point, with everything, there's always two sides, right? Yes, they're not tackling well. They're not playing football as much. The training camp is lighter than it used to be and not as intense. And then the same goes with practice. And then a guy like Trayvon Diggs gets hurt and tears his ACL in the middle of a practice, and he's out for the season. Again, that could have happened on anything, whether it was padded or not. It was padded, but the drill was just a routine drill. So my point is that as soon as you want to intensify practice and really, focus in on getting better at playing football throughout the week and making a better game, things like that happen where you get a little bit of, more of an injury. So it's always a balance. I think that it's within the teams to come up with the best drills that they can to kind of get them in that same frame of mind and try to do that. But you cannot. The best way to play football is to play football. I mean, you have to practice it. You have to play it. So your point is valid. I just don't know if it's going to be any major changes to do that right now. All right, let's go to Doc. He's in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Doc.
Hey, Nick. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to tell you a funny story, and then I wanted to comment on Mike McCarthy, because I'm a big fan, and 12-5 for 3 straight years is incredible. And I don't understand why, not you, but most of the media and most of the fans want to run the poor guy out of town. But let me tell you the funny story, because my son and I travel to a lot of the games, and We went to Cleveland and New York. We're going to be in Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Carolina, and probably a couple others.
Wow.
But
that's
we're the
the
good
schedule.
luck charm so far.
Yeah.
So, but what happened was on the Cleveland game, we're sitting there, and when Trayvon Diggs made the interception, my son is wearing his jersey, and we're up in the 14th row, so pretty far back. So Diggs comes running over and heaves the ball up, and it's coming directly to me. You know, I had to move into the aisle but the Cleveland guys had left. So all these hands are flying around, and at the last second, my son tries to cut in front of me because I'm 66 and he's only 25. He wanted to save the old man. And the darn ball bounced right off my chest and to some other guy. And it was so sad. But we had such a great time. Didn't matter.
Doc,
but it was funny. It
Doc,
was funny.
Remember,
yes, sir.
Remember that play next week when the pass over the middle and Ferguson doesn't catch it or drops it or something like that. And I know you're going to say, I'm 66 or whatever, but I'm just saying it happens. And you said it was funny that you dropped it. And just remember that, guys. Miss the ball every now and again.
Let me tell you this. That ball is really hard. And it's slippery.
Yeah,
it's not like the ball you play in your backyard.
No, ask
Nothing
Romo.
like it.
Seattle.
Oh, my God. It was like yeah, I know. I don't fault the guys, you know. That's why they wear gloves. It's smart.
Well, all right.
But let me talk about Mike McCarthy, because he's 12-5 for 3 straight years, and everybody wants to run him out of town if he doesn't go to the NFC title game. I mean, just making the playoffs is hard, as you've pointed out. We went through before your time, Chan Gailey, then we had Dave Campo and Wade Phillips, Bill Parcells.
That was all my time. That was all.
Not so tough. I don't like Jason Garrett, and when he called us not tough, he was not tough. But, we had all those years. We barely even made the playoffs 2 years in a row with any kind of a record, let alone 12-5. So what I want the fans to remember, and you keep pointing this out, getting the playoffs is not easy, and it's going to be a great year. I'll be cheering it right along. And advancing in the playoffs, you're a historian, so I just want to point out, since I'm an old timer, but my first year was the year of the NFL title game when Don Meredith threw the interception last play of the game from, I think, like the 2-yard line against Green Bay. We lost. Then the next year was the Ice Bowl. We lose on a last-second quarterback sneak. The next 2 years, we lost to a pretty good Cleveland team, although we were better than Cleveland, but we lost both times. And then we had the first Super Bowl, which Sports Illustrated called the Blunder Bowl, and we lose on a last-second field goal before we finally won it. So just because, I've been as disappointed as anybody in the losses in the playoffs, because I'm a fan. I want to win every game. But, just because you lose doesn't mean you run the guy out of town. I think it would be a big, big, big mistake. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. I think we got to see how this season goes. I'm probably one of the last guys that's going to say change the coach because it doesn't make it in the playoffs. I mean, I think getting to the playoffs, like you said, is way, way harder than people think. And to have and you need some stability. You've got to have that within your team, within your coaches. And I think this year is going to be interesting. Because if you started training camp and you said, hey, this defense is going to be better, and you're like, well, hold up, Sam Williams, who you expect to start on the outside, or at least be one of the top pass rushers, he's going to be out all year. Deron Bland. First 4 or 5 games, probably be out at least 5 games for you. Micah Parsons is going to miss a couple games. D-Law could miss a month and a half in the middle of the season. Good luck, Zim. Good luck. So you have to kind of figure out how all that works, and we'll see how they do and see if they can get this thing turned around. All right, let's keep this thing going. We got a text question here from the lines are open, by the way, 888-855-2297. I hear all the time about how hard it is to get in, which is great. That's a good problem to have. But I think right now, if you want to call in, you should be able to get through. Let's go with a text question. We got Tony from Mansfield, Texas. It says, Jerry talked about no Dalvin Cook again this week. He said it on the radio Tuesday morning, 105.3 The Fan. Again, doesn't think this is the week for Dalvin Cook to play. There's got to be something else going on here. He's not ready to play. He doesn't know the plays. They don't think he's that good. They don't see something in practice. There's something here. Okay, this is not a 4-time Pro Bowl running back who can just come in and he's going to save the day. They see something that they don't like because you're dead last in the NFL in rushing. It's been 4 games. That's enough of a sample size to know you're not running the ball well. You've won 2, you've lost 2, and through all of that, you're not running the ball. So, and they're trying different things. Rico Dowdle has started. Ezekiel Elliott has started. We've seen a little bit of Deuce Vaughn here and there. We've seen Hunter Lipke. CD's running the ball. Nothing's really working here. And so I think your longest, you've only had 3 rushes of 10 yards or more. 2 of them are by CD Lamb. That's a problem. And so if you've got Dalvin Cook on the practice squad and they're not playing him, I'm going to trust the coaches, the scouts, their eyes, their ears. They understand what's happening better than we do. So there's just more to it. There's more to it than them just saying, no, we like what we're doing here. We don't need this guy. So, again, at some point I'd like to think he's going to be here, or he's going to play, but I guess it's not going to be this week. That's at least what Jerry said on Tuesday. All right, let's go to Ronnie in New Jersey. Ronnie.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Nick, that was actually, you got to my point. That was actually the question I wanted to ask you. So,
Dalvin Cook?
With Schottenheimer being, his, dad was really famous, and the number one thing he was famous for was for running the ball. So his schemes, he had great running backs, but he ran the ball. So is this more because of McCarthy type of scheme, what he wants to do with the game plan, or because Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator, right? Or is it because the interior of the line, they seem pretty good. I mean, right now they're ranked. Tyler Smith is ranked pretty high. Everybody's saying that he looks like an All-Pro. Our center, BB, which that's the guy we wanted, that I wanted, starting. I think he's playing very well. And Zach Martin looks human every once in a while, but he's still better than most guards. So if our interior looks as good as they do, what's the problem? That's what I wanted to get to. You're not giving any. Okay, you just said that they gave every running back an opportunity, but they're not giving them 20, 25 carries. They give them 10, 12 carries, and then the other guy gets 10. No, give the guy 20, 25 carries, and then that's a true test to see who's really capable.
But let me ask you this though: 2-yard run, 4-yard run, 2-yard run, punt. You okay with that? I mean, because you're getting the opportunities. I think the biggest problem is they're not having success. I mean, they're not running the ball well. Zach Martin has got all the Pro Bowls. Tyler Smith looks like he's going to be there and be a Pro Bowler forever. Same thing. And Cooper Beebe. All of those guys look good, but whatever it is, they're not running the ball well. I mean, I don't think you could really say they've abandoned the run. I think they've tried. And it's not working out. They're not getting a lot of success there. So think about what I just said. You've only had one running back that's had you do not have a running back that's had a rush longer than 10 yards. Only Rico went for 10. That is it. So that shows to me that they're not having a lot of success doing this.
And that's the guy that's looking the best right now. I think if you give him more opportunities, you might get a better outcome. And if you're not going to give him more opportunities, then bring up Cooks. See what he does, because we need the running game in order to help our defense, which can't stop the run.
I'm with you.
Aside from this Giants game, and we need the running game to help out the entire team. Because if we get the running game, I think it'll give Dak more freedom. It'll give the defense a breather, and they'll be able to play a little bit better.
I'm totally with you.
That's my point.
And your point is right. Like all that you said, if the running game does this, all of these other factors will work. I believe that 1,000%. I just don't
And
think
Nick, give Lipke.
Lipke, okay.
Lipke looks good, man.
He does.
Looking really
He does.
good.
He needs a little bit more every time. That's my new nickname for him. Is Thanksgiving. That's I'm gonna call him Thanksgiving. Just keep adding stuff on his plate. He can take it. Just keep doing it. Keep throwing it to him.
Feed him.
All right, right.
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks,
man.
Ronnie. Appreciate that. I mean, you're right in everything that you're saying. I think if you go back and watch the games, and maybe that's what I need to do is kind of watch a little bit. I don't believe there's a time where they're just saying that they're giving up on the run. You're seeing a lot of 2-yard runs, 3-yard runs, and that doesn't necessarily keep you running the football. You're going to throw it. I mean, I think that they're a better passing team than they are a running team. So the goal is to move the football. That's the goal. You got to move it. I just don't believe that this team can consistently run the football to move the sticks. We're not seeing that as much. I'll give them credit for this though. Zeke is not doing a lot, but one of the biggest plays in that Giants game last week was a 7-yard run by Zeke in the fourth quarter. They just stopped them on fourth down. They got the ball back, 3:45 to go, about on the 45 of the Giants. You need a couple of first downs to win this game, and or at least put it away. And they know you're running. They know that you're going to run the football. And Zeke gets 7 on first down. That was huge. That was a big, big play in the game. Because then you get 2 yards. I believe I think Zeke got 2, and then Lipke got the first down. That's 1 first down. They ran 7 or 8 yards, but got the clock down to 30 seconds. Kicked the field goal, missed it. I still think McCarthy should have called timeout there. I think Aubrey would have nailed that kick, but whatever, it doesn't matter because they won the game. But I'm just saying, when they really needed to run, they got what they needed in the first down. But this running game clearly is not working out right now. All right, let's go to Rick in Massachusetts. Rick.
Hey Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. So question. We had, on the practice squad, or not the practice squad, but during training camp, we had defensive end Muhammad. Since he's suspended 1 game, does that suspension starts when he's on the team, or does that suspension starts at the beginning of the season?
He's got to be on the team for that to happen, and the Cowboys chose not to do that, and I'm not really sure why, because it sure would have been nice now, I think, to just say, just go through that. Let him be on the team. He would serve a 1-game suspension, and then they could have cut him if they wanted to, and then bring him back or whatever. But if any team brings him in, he still has to serve a suspension of 1 game. So
okay, yeah. The other question is, you think that John Stevens or Ron Flournoy will get a chance?
Why not? You need a little juice. I don't know what Brevin Spanford's really giving you. He's giving you about a penalty of game. I mean, that is happening. Not saying John Stevens, he hasn't played a game before, so he might have some issues there too, because a lot of that's on special teams. But I wouldn't be opposed to Stevens over Spanford to be active. I think that would be fine. He gives you a little bit more in the passing game, I think. So that would be good. And then Flournoy, I'm for that. And Flournoy, I'm not sure you need this many running backs active. I mean, you may not need Deuce active. Lipke can do a little bit more things. So, anyways, I'd like to see Flournoy if it works out. I don't know if he has to take Jalen Brooks' spot, but I'm with you. You need a little something, little spark, and I think both those guys could do that at their positions.
Okay, thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. Have a good one. All right, let's take our first break here on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back to take more calls. See ya.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Head to AT&T Stadium to experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek on Saturday, September 21st from 10 a.m. I'm sorry, that's not September. We got October the 5th, actually. We got another one coming up here. October the 5th, right before the Cowboys take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to have Rally Day and pep rally to watch the party. We're going to have a watch party at the Cowboys and Steelers AT&T Stadium at Miller Lite House watch party. All right. Welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. Here we got it. Let's go back to the phone lines. Lester in Minnesota. Lester, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing out there, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to say this. This is, for everyone listening, this is how you build a team. You got to have a good offensive line and a good defensive line. And then you get your other players. And I understand right now we have some of the other players, but the biggest thing I see is that we need to build up our defensive line. I don't know why we ignored that so long. Wait. I shouldn't say we ignored it.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say we ignored it, but we didn't put a lot of emphasis in it.
First-round pick. First-round pick of defensive tackle. First time you took a defensive tackle in the first round in 31 years. I think it just wasn't the guy. He hasn't been great. He hasn't not been great. And they have been great drafting first-round picks. They've been awesome at getting first-round picks, whatever, especially late in the first round. And they took Mozzie Smith, and so far that hasn't materialized yet. He had a great game. He did have a great game last week. That's good. That's a start. But, I mean, I just don't know if you can say they haven't addressed the position. They've tried. What would you have done differently? What would you have done differently?
No, I said that they haven't done it. They kind of didn't pay attention to it to me until Mozzie Smith. I mean,
okay.
they've done the little things here and there, but
okay, third-round picks and stuff like I get you. Like, signing Hankins later. Yeah, you're right from that standpoint. And they stepped it up by getting Mozzie Smith. I mean, they were because they were going like third round because Neville Gallimore in the third round, Osa, Chauncey Golston, that kind of stuff. But you're saying put a little higher emphasis, and they did in the first round for Mozzie, and that hasn't paid off just yet, but it might eventually.
And then I just like I said, the last time I talked to you about 3 weeks ago, I was trying to give you a little history about myself. I've been listening the whole time. As far as my the favorite wrestlers was Action Smash, Demolition. My favorite cowboy of all time was Tom Landry. And I think that all my family are from Pittsburgh, so they're Pittsburgh fans. So, I don't too much like Pittsburgh.
No.
I'm the only cowboy in the family. I think we'll beat the Pittsburgh this week 20-17.
All right. We'll see if you're right. If that's one of those nail-biter games. I would imagine we're going to see a lot of that. All right. Let's go here to Robbie. He's in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
What's up, Nick? How's it going, man?
Hey, Robbie, how are you?
I'm good. How's your boy and the rest of the family? Jake doing well at football?
He's doing pretty good. He's doing all right. He wants the ball thrown at him. You know what I mean? Like, let's throw him the rock.
I thought he was playing center, though.
Yeah, well, those centers get open in flag football. This is not just regular football. It's flag football.
Flag.
I mean, get open.
God.
So, but it's okay. It's all right. He'll get there. He'll get there.
Good for him, man. I know he will. He's got a good father who knows football real well.
Well, thank you.
Hey, man. You're welcome, man. Well, first of all, it's still the same thing. I wish our running game was better. I know you've been talking about it all day. I'm sure it's probably 80% of the conversation. Makes me look back now to the free agency and wishing we could have got Derrick Henry, watching him play last night. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our division is still, though, up for grabs, man. Washington's doing a lot better than I anticipated. I know the pundits were saying how good they were going to do, and I didn't believe them, but man, they're looking good. That Daniels kid. Ooh. So what do we do to win our division?
Beat Washington.
Beat Washington.
Beat Washington. Hey, it'll come down. I mean, Robert Griffin did the same thing, right? I mean, he really did.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Thing. Teams will figure out a little bit how to slow him down. Jaden Daniels might be like the next superstar. He really could be. I mean, that's why you draft these guys number 2 overall. He's doing everything right. And they've got a coach over there in Dan Quinn that knows how to turn things around. He did. They turned around this defense. He turned around Atlanta, and he's turning around Washington. So, they have good defense. They got good defensive tackles there in the middle. They play hard. They are aggressive. They're running the ball. They're playing like old school Washington football, and then they got a quarterback who's dynamic too. So they look really good, and that's they're a lot better than where they were, which is typically what happens when you get a new coach, a new system. That kind of happens. We'll see. Their schedule's favorable though for them. I mean, they play Cleveland this week. They go to Baltimore, Carolina, Chicago at home, at the Giants, Pittsburgh at home. So, I mean, at Philly and then Dallas. I mean, they're probably going to be they're going to probably have a much better, I don't know about much better, but they're going to have a better record than the Cowboys, I would think, when they play them. So you got to beat them. It's always somebody moves up and down. I think Philly's going to be tough, but Cowboys got to do their thing. There's no reason why they can't win this game this week in Pittsburgh. I mean, yeah, it's defensive ends. I mean, it's going to be a challenge, but I haven't been overly impressed with Pittsburgh, but I think this will be a very tough matchup because of where it is and just how much they need this. They're coming off a loss. I think it would have been better if they would have won last week and been undefeated, be it 4-0. I think it would have been a better target, I think, on their back than maybe this game. But either way, it's you can't worry about that. It's going to happen. What's going to happen? All right, let's keep it going here. We got Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob. How are you?
Everybody's talking. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
One of the callers was talking about Mike McCarthy and 12-5, and that's good and all.
Here we go.
No. I'm not even. It's not really going to matter who the coach is until they change their business model, and they're not going to do it. They don't use free agency like other teams.
Nope.
They do enough to be good, but they don't do enough to be great. And what bothers me is you've seen it. We've had 2 top 10 quarterbacks for the last just about 20 years now, and have nothing to show for it except his bank account.
Let me tell you something, Rob, real quick. I want to get your opinion on something, okay? And I've said this before. This is the Cowboys model when it comes to free agency, all right? This is how they believe, that when free agency hits, the average players get good money in free agency, and good players get great money in free agency, and great players never see free agency. That's the way they operate. So they feel like if there's a great player out there, he's not in free agency. And
but that's it hasn't worked though, and it's not about getting great players. It's about getting players that are better than what you have.
Good players.
And position, and it could be a good player.
But that's the point. You have to play great money for that. Great.
Well, you have to pay to play. I mean, look, we just paid Dak $60 million. He ain't worth $60 million a year, but that's just the way it is. That's what bothers me. Here's the deal: you just invested between Dak and CD. What are we talking? $350 million?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Give or take. The only way that makes sense is if you win a Super Bowl. If you build on that, like this year, what bothered me the most in free agency this year, and I think a lot of fans, is we were very good last year. I know we fell apart in against Green Bay. But this was the build on it. You got guys in their prime. You know, we looked at the 90s Cowboys, and yes, they had a great head coach, but they had a great quarterback. Well, I think we got a good enough quarterback to win.
Yeah.
CD, Michael Irvin, I mean, the difference is the offensive line and the defensive line. We just don't have that. Now, the offensive line may be better in a year or two, but right now, not so much.
Right.
But they should have built on the team from last year because all you needed was a couple of pieces. The problem is by the time they decide to do that, Dak won't be in his prime. CD won't be in his prime. And Micah, I don't know what they're going to do with Micah. So that's the only thing I don't understand. They just do enough to stay relevant, and I don't know why. You got too many star players in positions that everybody wants. Like we always said, if Dak would have hit free agency, every team that needed a quarterback would have went after him. CD, we got star players, even on the offensive line with Tyler Smith. I know Zach Martin ain't the guy he was, but they should have built on that, but they just don't use free agency. And I know you overpay a little bit, but all they need is a piece like Philadelphia did. As much as I can't stand them, they've been to 2 Super Bowls and won one, and we haven't seen anything in 30 years. So the business model is bad. And I want to ask you one question, and I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Love it.
Do you think Jerry Jones would rather win a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Wait.
No, there is no wait. There's no wait.
No, there is a but.
Yes.
There is a but.
Oh, okay.
But he wouldn't be involved. He would give up everything. He would just sit in the box like most owners. Would you think he'd rather do that or just be doing what he's doing right now but be involved?
Win a Super Bowl. Because he would be involved. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about this year, like this year or next year or whatever. He would still be involved because...
No, he can't be involved. Be involved.
But
he's got to give up GM.
Thanks.
Got to give up GM and just sit in the box like Robert Kraft and all the other great owners. You just enjoy the success of the team.
He would take that. He would take that. Yeah, thanks for the call. He would do that because a couple things. The one thing that he loves more than owning the team and being the GM and all that is his family. And his family would be running it, and Steven would be running it. And Steven would get credit then, or and Jerry ultimately would get credit for in his own way too, because you got to remember all this stuff. I mean, he's still the GM for a lot of these players that are still here. So you can't just say, nah, he had nothing to do with it. I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying I think he would take that. He would take that because of what the success that would mean for his family, and also what it would mean because his legacy, because he still would be a guy that built this. So I think that's that's interesting. But he wants to win a Super Bowl, and he would definitely do that. If they thought that was the right way. But all right, let's go to Mike in Birmingham, England.
Hello, Nick. It took me 43 goes to get through tonight. You are a very, very popular man. I've got to congratulate you on the huge success of this show. Well done to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you for calling in at night. I know it's later over there. Thank you.
It's all right, actually. It's about 4:30, so not too bad time-wise. Shout out to Zach in Kaiserslautern, Germany. You know, when he called a couple of weeks ago, said he was in Kaiserslautern, and I'm sure most of your listeners were the same as you. Yep, don't know where that is. But for your one listener who happens to be a fan of Watford FC, that word Kaiserslautern reminds us of one of the greatest nights in our history. So thank you, Zach, for bringing that. That's what sport can do, and that was pretty cool. But anyway, you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about Cowboys. So I just caught the end of your last caller, so I don't know if I'm kind of overlapping a little bit. I've said to you before, Nick, I'm still learning this game, and your callers are great. You know, they study the game, they know it inside out, and I love to listen more than talk. But one thing I feel that I can kind of talk about, because it cuts across sports and, you know, all kind of sports teams. We all feel that we know how our sports team should be run, right? We all feel like we could make a good fist of it. And you took a call last week from someone who was, and this isn't a criticism, it's a valid view, someone who was criticising the front office for maxing out the credit card, and therefore we couldn't make moves in the summer. And then meanwhile, this week, we've got people talking about how, you know, we've got 20+ million cap space. Let's use it. Let's spend our money and so on. Per your comments yesterday about what sort of season this is, I'm with you. You've got to enjoy the ride. I've said that before. You know, whatever's happening, we've got football. Let's enjoy it. And, you know, it doesn't feel like this is our year in terms of doing something amazing. But who knows? It's sport. Anything can happen. And let's see. But right at the moment, and I want to know what you think about this. Right at the moment, I would be keeping my money in my pocket. And let's say if we win the next 3 games, then maybe this season takes a different complexion, and maybe we go for it a bit. But I'm thinking with our young players and you know, Dak and CD signed, and there'll be a smaller percentage of the cap in a couple of years. I'm not giving up this season, but there could be a window opening in a year or two's time. Let's hang on to our money and see what happens. Just wondering what you think about that.
All right. Thank you. Always is something that the all sports teams. I mean, it happens in baseball a lot. Not so much maybe NBA, but it happens definitely in NFL and baseball, where you're like, where are you in the middle of the season? Are you going for it, or are you going to kind of stay back? And then that doesn't mean that you're trying to lose games. It just means that you're not trying to, you know, dip into the future to try to fix this team right now. You're trying to develop these young players and see how it goes. You know, I thought the Rams were an interesting team last year, because I think they were just trying to develop players last year, and then they snuck around and got into the playoffs. You know, and so that's kind of what the Rams were, the team I kept hearing that the Cowboys were kind of hoping that it would go like that this year, that they're going to have to stay the course, develop, play some young guys. So I don't think there will be, if you're asking if I think there'll be a trade or anything like that, I don't think there'll be a significant one. Jerry Jones said on the air Tuesday morning, he said that, you know, usually it rarely pans out. It's wishful thinking to think you're going to get somebody in a trade that's going to come in and help you right now, because there's a reason why they were trading for him and all that kind of stuff. And it's usually because of money. And obviously, I don't think the Cowboys are willing to take on a big contract for that. Remember, everything they've got under the salary cap, they are trying to move to next year. Next year is going to be a problem. If you thought free agency was bad this year, it's going to be real bad next year, as far as who they're going to lose and who they're not going to sign and all that. They're going to try to save as much money as they can. So all these reports you hear about salary cap and what they have under the cap, it's all really pushing for next year. All right, let's take our last break here on Cowboys Storyline, and I'll be right back to take a few more calls.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. Got time for a few more calls here on this show. We got going back to the Northeast. Been a lot of Northeast calls today. Going to New York. Chris in Saratoga Springs, New York. Chris, what's up? Have you seen Bill Parcells?
Yeah, my dad sees him a lot, actually.
That's where he is, up there a lot. Yeah.
He says it's the happiest place on earth in Saratoga Springs.
No doubt about it. He loves being up there watching those horses and all that. All right, Chris, what do you got?
I know you probably already talked a little bit about it, but I'm having an issue with Brandon Cooks, to be honest.
Have not talked about it, but go for it.
I just don't. I mean, I've been a Cowboy fan my entire life. I dissect every game. I'm watching him, especially during the games, and he's getting zero separation from the cornerbacks. So when are we going to look at this and say, hey, maybe we should give somebody else a chance, like Ryan Flannery that's sitting there, even Turpin, Jalen Brooks that are in Jalen Tolbert. I mean, there's so many other options. When are they going to look at it and say, hey, this guy's not working out, and maybe sit him on the bench?
Yeah, he needs to step up. There's no doubt about it. But what they're missing that. And I'll tell you, I was super surprised because I thought that he was going to have a big season, especially with him being the number one guy at training camp with CD out and the rapport that Dak had created with him. I thought, man, we're going to have a really, really big season. Let me just tell you one thing really quick about this from going into last year with Brandon Cooks, okay? We're 4 games in. This, after 4 weeks last year, Brandon Cooks, in the first game, 2 catches, 22 yards. Second game, he was hurt. Third game, 2 catches, 17 yards. And then he had 4 catches, 27 yards. Fifth game, he had 1 catch for 7 yards. So after 5 weeks of the season, we got 9 catches for less than 100 yards. That looks like about 60 yards. 9 catches for 60 yards, 5 games into the season. Okay, he ends up catching 8 touchdowns. He had a 173-yard game against the Giants. It was his only 100-yard game, but he did have, he caught 2, 3, 4, 5, passes. He got better and better as the year went on. He got that. It seemed like he was catching a touchdown in the corner of the end zone every single week. So I'll say this, and I'm not sure why there's another slow start. I don't know if that's a career thing for him. I don't think it is. But last year he had a slow start. He came on kind of strong at the end. Him and CD together, they were like gangbusters at the end. So let's see if he can do that again because we've seen it happen before. That's all. That's glass half full there for Brandon Cooks. But there's no doubt about it. That number 2 receiver has to step up. Michael, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I was just telling Chris how I still had complete positivity for the Cowboys season.
Why not?
Hey, Parcells said that you want to be at the end of September 500 or better. We're 500. So,
Is that what he said? I don't remember him saying that, but I mean, it sounds.
I read that quote the other day. He said that.
I never heard that one. But the only thing that I always heard him say was, just talk to me on Thanksgiving. That's where you need to be and all that. I mean, I think at this point, looking at the Cowboys schedule, I think, most people thought they would probably be 3-1. Maybe lose to Baltimore or Cleveland, but probably split one of those 2 games and then be 3-1. But the New Orleans game sitting there, and it's a bad loss. It wasn't like it was, a good one. It was a bad loss. They don't look to be that great. They look average. It's the Saints, so that's kind of scary. But again, it's a matchup league, and the Cowboys. But here's the thing: the next three opponents. The one thing you can always describe with those teams: Detroit, Pittsburgh, Detroit, San Francisco. What's the one thing they all have in common?
We're going to beat all three of them.
Okay, I like Michael. There you go. It's your show. Your show. Go ahead.
Also, the shout out to Kaiserslautern. We called it K-Town. I used to live right down the street from there for about 2 years when I was stationed at Ramstein. And I got a question real quick. You have the international calls and stuff. I once heard, maybe you can tell me if this is true or not, that the Cowboys have season ticket holders in all 50 states and a few countries. Is that true, or was it just something I heard?
I don't know that. I don't know if they have a season ticket holder in Montana or Rhode Island or Vermont. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I could probably figure that out. That's a good question for you, Michael. You call enough. Next time you call, see if I'll have an answer for that. I would imagine it's close. That seems like something that you know. I mean, you probably have. They have these season ticket holders probably have ties to these other states. Maybe they don't live there, but maybe they're from there or whatever. I don't know that answer, but that seems like that would be possible. You're talking about 60,000 season ticket holders. That's very possible that there's one in every state. All right, let's go to Ali in Florida. Be our last caller today.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good, not too bad. I'm cleaning up the house after this stupid storm. I'll make it quick. What do you think about, I don't know if you can comment on it or not. I think we are fighting for the playoff, but we have a couple good pieces. But if they have to make a change, what do you think if Cowboys go after Belichick?
Oh.
Because I get in a little bit noise that Eagles is going after that. I think I really don't like to see Belichick go to Eagles. But it's that. So I was thinking if we get a Belichick, then we get maybe Darren Woodson as a defensive coordinator. He can get groomed on the Belichick. Then we bring the Romo as offensive coordinator. That's all I have. Let me know what you think.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe that. I love it. Just anything else? Anything else Parcells could come back. He could be like he could be some kind of consultant. Aikman, got to get him involved in there as well. Emmett, he might just bring him back to run the ball. I mean, he could probably be a running back for you. Who else? We need some kind of coach, like in your face, rally coach, like a Randy White or something like that. Too Tall Jones, we got to get him back. Ali, you're dreaming. You're dreaming over there. Hey, he said the storm. He was cleaning up the house. Hope everything's good there. I know a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff with the floods and the hurricanes and things like that in that southeast region, Florida and all that. So hope everyone is safe there. But you're out there. This is that's dreamland talk. But again, you're right. The first thing you said was I can't talk about like the next coach, the next quarterback, the next running back. I mean, it's that's why we do what we do. We have to stay in the moment. If we didn't stay in the moment, we wouldn't be able to have the show. Like you guys can talk like that. Like seriously, you guys can say that, and that's what's on your mind, and you're thinking like that. I can't do that. The focus for me is these next few shows before we go to Pittsburgh. What does this team need to do to get better to win the next game in Pittsburgh? And if that happens or if it doesn't happen, what went wrong? What has to change for them to turn things around and get better and beat the Lions? Because the Lions are going to come in here pissed. Yeah, they're going to be thinking about this next game, but they're still worried about last week's game or last year's game and all that kind of stuff. So Dan Campbell will have something for that. My question, when Michael cut me off, he's got his own answer. That's fine. My answer to what those three teams have in common, Pittsburgh, Detroit, San Francisco, they're tough as nails. Tough as nails. They're tough tough football team. The Cowboys have to show the toughness to even stay on that level, because that's one thing we found out. If you're a tough team, the Cowboys have problems with those kind of teams because they run the football and they keep running it, and it's tough. They get the lead, and it's tough for the Cowboys to get back. Their toughness is going to be tested, not just their depth on the defensive line and the pass rusher and all that and the running game. It's not just the depth. The toughness of this team is about to be tested more than we've ever seen, and it starts this Sunday in Pittsburgh. All right. Well, this has been a good show. Appreciate all the callers. For Chris Beam, our producer, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!